It is tribal combat, and some other stuff happened. Brock Lesnar's back, but Monday Night Raw went down, and we got a lot of news came out of this the Red brand for a change, and we got some stuff to talk about here on the 716 Sports Entertainment Podcast. So let's get right into it. I'm your host, Mike, joined by Mr. Sean O'Neill. And Sean, how do we feel about? Let's get into the biggest story, I guess, and that is Brock Lesnar kind of coming out of retirement, although according to Paul Heyman, still in retirement. But the segment that we had saw Oba Femi prepare for another open challenge to just immediately eat a stack of F5s from Brock Lesnar, to which Paul Heyman said backstage, yeah, no, he's still retired, but here's a contract for him to smoke Oba Femi.
So, a couple things out of this, in my opinion. First of all, fun episode of Raw. But as far as the Brock news and everything, my God, he looked like he was in fantastic shape. Like, he looked like he was in better shape than during the WrestleMania match. But I'm fully expecting this to turn into a 3-match thing. So Mania was the first match, Italy will be the second, and then SummerSlam will be the last one. I think, you're going to get Oba Femi's first loss out of the way, and I think that's perfectly fine. You have him lose to Lesnar in a way like Cody did, where I think you have Lesnar choke him out. I think that is a perfectly fine way to just get that out of the way. And then I think you have Oba retire Brock at SummerSlam. And I think that Brock retired, air quotes. I don't think Brock wanted to face Gunther. I don't think he wanted to be part of that storyline and go out that way.
So I was going to ask you, do you think the Gunther match is completely off the table now?
I do. I think he pulled a Rey Mysterio and basically was like, yeah, I don't want to be part of that. So I'm interested to see, because I could also see WWE just going the route of Oba beating him again. I have a harder time seeing that, though. I really do think we're going to see something like Oba getting choked out or something along those lines. And like I said, I think that gets it out of the way, and having it happen to someone like Brock, who then you overcome and retire, makes it even more important. You know what I mean?
I don't really know if the Gunther match is off the table anymore now. Do you? What? So a couple things. One, I don't know if I want him to beat Oba or not, given like how the WrestleMania match went down. I don't know if this is a great thing at all, to be completely honest with you. And then also B, I have a hard time, like, I don't want Oba to Oba definitely cannot tap out.
No,
cannot tap out.
He wouldn't.
He needs to, if in fact you are right and Oba were to lose, I feel like he needs to not only like be through like a dick punch or something, or like some kind of nonsense has to happen, right? Like, got to be a cheap shot or something. Like, he can't lose clean, right? Like, he cannot lose clean if the plan is in fact for him to lose. Like, if Brock just straight hits him, drops him on his head a couple times with an F5, and he just beats him, what was the point of everything you did at WrestleMania?
I mean, how many F5s did he eat last night? 4? So,
4, yeah.
Like, if I'm WWE, the only sort of clean way to have Lesnar go over, you end up have him keep hitting Oba with F5s to the point where, like, the ref stops the match. You know what I mean? Where, like, Oba just Brock just keeps picking him up and just dropping him. You know what I mean? And the other option is you have him do that. You get him in the Kimura lock and you just choke him out completely. He doesn't tap. He just passes out.
Again, I don't like any of that, though.
Neither do I, though.
I don't like any part of that. Like, again, I say, what was the point of the WrestleMania match?
To turn this into something that lasts 6 months? I don't know, and I think that's the problem they're running into with Oba, with the storyline for Oba, with the fact that nobody wants to fight him because he is the monster that he is.
well, you could have used, we said it before on this channel, you could have used like a Sheamus in that spot or something like that, or a handful of other guys, right? Like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to do the match with him and Bron Breakker yet, but I mean that's got to happen eventually. I don't want to do the match with him and Roman Reigns yet, or him and Jacob Fatu. Obviously, those two guys are doing their own thing, but that needs to happen again. He could go after Cody, he could go after LA Knight, he could go after Randy Orton. Whenever he comes back, there's a lot of guys, top of the card type guys who Oba could go up against, and some of them he could conceivably beat. Others maybe not so much, but yeah, I don't know. I don't feel great about any of it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I think I can put my if I have to put a stamp on this, color me leery of the whole thing because I feel like this could very easily go either way.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't love it. I think this just kind of makes the whole WrestleMania thing seem completely pointless. But maybe that's just me. But let us know what you guys think in the comments down below on that. Are we like completely off the mark here? Does this ruin the WrestleMania thing? I'm leaning towards yes. But um, other than that, though, the show had a lot of other interesting moments, and there was some good wrestling on the show as well. So the show kicked off with Roman Reigns arriving to the arena, immediately confronted by Adam Pearce, who tried to convince the OTC to do things his way. Though during their conversation, Jacob's music was heard playing in the background where he made his way to the ring, immediately calling out Roman Reigns, but Jimmy and Jay proceeded to answer instead. Jay came out with the chair, kind of was threatening him physically, and they were just sort of going back and forth, being like, "What are you doing, dude? You're going to get fired," all this other stuff. This obviously eventually brought out Roman, and Jacob obviously was victim to the 3-on-1. They tied him up in the ropes, hit him with some super kicks, a couple of spears, a 1D. um and the three original members of the Bloodline kind of just left him in the ring, made their way up the ramp, and Jacob basically, in a last gasp, called out Roman for tribal combat, to which Roman accepted. So we are likely, in fact, going to get both titles being defended in Italy, which I said 2 weeks ago I did not think was going to happen. So shame on me, internet. I am, in fact, wrong. But this was awesome. And this story continues to be awesome. And I loved everything about this entire segment. I thought this was great.
Don't worry, I won't hold it against you that I am occasionally right. It would be nice if I could be right when the matches were going on, but that's besides the point. No, I think that this has the potential to be the match of the night in Italy. I mean, as cool as it'll be to see Cody versus Gunther, I think this is going to blow that away. I think the whole tribal combat concept is fun as hell. There's going to be a ton of interference in it. I'm wondering if this is where we're finally going to see WWE bring in Zilla Fatu and have somebody to back up Jacob. Maybe you see Royce Keys in a spot like that. Someone who, because they have their history, someone who just comes out to give Jacob some backup against the 3-on-1. Because we saw the beating he took last night was hellacious. Like multiple super kicks, multiple spears, and then the lowest of the low, Adam Pearce trying to fire a guy when he's laying in the middle of the ring. Almost as bad as getting fired on your day off. But I digress. I think it was a fantastic segment. I still think that this is exactly how they need to be booking Jacob, as just this absolute like tornado of chaos that nobody knows exactly what the hell he's going to do. And I'm really looking forward to this.
So let me ask you this. Now that, because obviously we got Saturday night's main event this weekend, and I believe Ethan Page and Penta is on that show, and we'll do our predictions for that. The triple threat with the women, with the Rhea and the Fatal Influence and Alexa and Charlotte. And then there's another match that's on there. Oh, the tag team titles is this weekend as well. The Vision versus the Street Profits is this weekend as well. And I feel like
and Sol Ruca and Becky.
Yeah, and Sol Ruca and Becky. So those are all this weekend. And we'll have our predictions for that. But, obviously the title matches carry a little bit more weight since both of those will be on the Italy show. which is 2 weekends from this weekend. Um, well, one weekend after this weekend, technically. But right now, gun to your head, which title is more likely to swap in Italy?
That's a tough question. Like, I still think that if Roman is going to be gone for at least a month, that I think the title should be taken off of him. But Cody Gunther, I mean, it's Gunther. It could very well go that way. I mean, I responded to our one comment earlier. I'm still thinking Cody retains that one. So I'm going to predict, I'm going to go Jacob again for this, winning the title.
Yeah, I'm leaning Jacob as well because of the point about Roman being gone. And I think Cody is so over outside of the United States that but it's tough though, man, because of Gunther and everything with Gunther. Like they're still playing up the John Cena thing and the AJ Styles thing and everything else, right? So, but at the same time, Cody could do something kind of heely to win as
Yeah.
well, right? So it kind of makes me think that initially Cody probably more likely to retain because I still don't know if I believe it or not, but I think that the Cody CM Punk thing is going to happen. I know CM Punk has been off for a couple of weeks, and it sounds like he's going to be off until the Chicago show for Raw or SmackDown, whatever it is, in like the towards the end of June. There's a Chicago show, so I think that's when Punk is going to come back. So because I think they just gave him time off after everything. So I would not be surprised if we see Punk on the blue brand if Cody does retain coming after Cody after we get out of that Night of Champions show and we make our way towards SummerSlam. I think he might be frozen. So I will just keep going until Sean's internet catches up.
I don't know if it was me or you. That was weird.
I don't know. I was still talking, but
No, it's mine. My internet just went weird.
yeah. So I just said that basically I don't know. I think when CM Punk comes back, he's very likely going to go after Cody, assuming Cody still has the title. We'll probably see him go over to the blue brand.
Oh yeah, for sure. And if he comes back winning, it's the perfect time up for the startup to any SummerSlam type feuds. So
Yeah. Man, Sean, your internet is not doing too good today.
I think, and they already planted the seeds for it from my side. It's weird. It's too big of an opportunity for them to miss.
Yeah, and SummerSlam's going to be a huge show in that big stadium show in Minnesota. So yeah, I that's too big of a match to do. It'll headline one of the nights for sure. So so the first match of the evening saw Finn Balor defeat JD McDonagh in a hell of a match. I liked everything about this. It was basically more or less a no DQ match, and Bálor ended up winning after putting McDonagh in a trash can, hitting the coup de grace for the win. But this is ultimately, saw Dom kind of attempt to interfere, but he made a mistake, hit the 619 on JD instead of Finn. And this allowed Finn to kind of blast him with the garbage can and ultimately pick up the win. And the only thing I kind of want to say about this is this whole thing kind of seems like it's stuck in a little bit of a rut, like Finn and the Judgment Day. Like, I don't really know where we go from here, right? Like, is this over? Is it actually over? Or like, are we gonna do Finn and Dom again? Because like Bálor has been being booked very, very well, I think. But I kind of feel like the Judgment Day just kind of seems like they're stuck in a rut right now, at least the men's side of the Judgment Day.
They need to figure out what to do with the men from the Judgment Day so that they can move Finn Balor onto something else. Because Finn is such a good baby face that he could very easily be used in like almost any other role where you need a face. And I just feel like he's beyond having to deal with Dom and McDonagh anymore. Like, but then the problem with that is I legitimately have no idea what you do with the Judgment Day at that point. Like, do you even keep them together, or do you break them apart? I mean, we know that obviously the talk is Liv versus Roxanne at SummerSlam, so then obviously there's got to be some sort of
Is it though?
like break.
Are we actually
That
going to do that, or are we
that
going to
was
go?
what the original talk was. I don't know if it still is, but at some point that's got to start too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could have Liv or Roxanne and Finn like attempt to break away. Maybe I don't know because they were kind of playing that up a little bit, and maybe they'll go back to that. I don't really know though.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I just still think the whole thing is stuck in a little bit of a rut. Maybe Dom and JD could go after the tag team titles, I suppose. Like you could turn them into a tag team, especially if Dom's going to drop the AAA title.
Yeah. I think that's what it's going to hinge on is Dom dropping that title.
Yeah. So I don't know. It should be interesting. Next, we saw backstage Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch interrupting a Sol Ruca promo, only to be called out by her moments later in an in-ring promo. And this was great, and obviously this is what led to the match, obviously being made for Saturday night's main event. Another excellent segment. Becky continues to show why she's one of the best talkers in the women's division. Did a great job here, elevating Sol Ruca, but at the same time, kind of cutting her down. And I liked everything about this promo, and I don't know if Sol Ruca is going to win this first match. I think Becky will probably cheat to retain, but I'm starting to agree with your point from earlier, which is two I'm giving you now. So don't let that go to your head. But I think you're right. I think Sol Ruca may end up beating her. I don't know if like she'll be the one to completely walk away with the title when the feud is over, but I think Sol will get one over Becky.
So I think first of all, the fact that Becky Lynch is putting the stamp of working on with Sol Ruca there, I think that's huge because Becky will make her look like a star. Like she's a fantastic person to be put with if you're looking to move somebody up the roster very quickly. And I I don't know if the match at Saturday Night Main Event is actually going to be a title match, but if it's not a title match, I think Sol needs to win it so that way she can push for the title match so she can win that.
Yeah. Yeah, if it ends up being a non-title match, then Sol definitely wins. If it ends up being a title match, Becky probably retains through some shenanigans. Probably like grabs the tights or puts her feet on the ropes or something like that to pick up the win. Probably. But I don't think Becky just drops the title to her in their first match.
Sol is athletic enough though that like if she tries to do like the grabbing of the tights, I could see her reversing that. You know what I mean?
Sure. But I don't think they just immediately have Sol beat Becky. Like unless it's like, like a fast kind of thing or whatever, and she just quickly like the same kind of thing they did with Maxine maybe like 6 months ago, which
Yeah.
randomly beats her, and then she's like, "Oh my god, I won!" That kind of thing. I suppose they could do that.
They can further the Becky Lynch versus the Ref feud.
That's also true. They could also do that because Becky does not get along with that one ref. Next, we saw El Grande Americano with Bravo and Rayo versus OG Americano with Julio and Bruto. And this saw Americano, Bravo, and Rayo pick up the win. This was kind of just a standard TV match, and it was fine. Although I've said this for a while on this channel, this rivalry really needs to be over. Like one of these teams needs to go just be in AAA kind of a bit more permanently, and then the other team needs to go back to being, American made or American Alpha or whatever.
I mean, they're already announcing the return of Chad Gable for the beginning of June, so I think that I feel he's back from his worldwide tour. So I think that is a sign that this feud is going to be over. I do find it absolutely hysterical, though, that they aren't allowed to get physical at all in AAA, yet they could totally throw down up here. It's like the beatdowns are allowed in the U.S., but not in Mexico. I think this was a good match for what it was. It got all these guys on TV. continued the story that's been spread across multiple shows. And I know I don't normally watch AAA. I believe it's on YouTube when they do it. I will definitely be watching that show at the end of the month.
Yeah, I mean the in-ring action doesn't disappoint with these guys because they're all good wrestlers. It was a fun, energy-packed match, but again, I'm tired of these six guys just going at it over and over and over again. You know,
Yeah.
especially the two Americanos. Like that's probably enough of that. So backstage, we had LA Knight interrupt an Usos promo and call them out for doing the same thing under Roman Reigns that they kind of combated the Vision for doing. And, you know, again, we're kind of seeing that sort of distrust between LA Knight and the Usos. I don't know I mean, it's nice to see that LA Knight is back because there was a bit of a concern there for a minute that he might have been on the Featured Endeavored list. But I feel like he probably needs to make his way to the Blue Brand. I think at this point, because I don't know how much more there is for him to do. Truthfully, he's not going to be going after any of the Vision people anymore. And is he going to feud? Is he going to be the next? If Jacob doesn't win, is he going to be the next one to go after Roman? Like, no. Okay, I suppose he could be a dark horse to win Money in the Bank, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I would be perfectly fine with him winning Money at the Bank, but I feel like they've been inserting him enough in these Usos segments of the Bloodline stuff that that's got to be what his storyline is going to be for a little while. Something to do with them and making them see that they're falling back into the old Bloodline versions of themselves, or because he did also interact with Seth too, so maybe Seth tries to win him over for combating the Vision as well. I mean, there are a couple of different ways they could go for LA Knight, and I think the bigger thing is that we get to see him on TV at least. That means they're using him.
Yeah, I think I would really like it if they put the briefcase on him because I think, you know, he's getting close to the end of his career too. He's well into his 40s at this point, right? So I feel like of all of the people on the roster, he's on the short list of people who desperately deserve at least 3 months with the title.
Yeah.
So, you know, I would be perfectly okay with that.
Yeah, give him the Jey Uso title run.
Right. Exactly. You know, 3 months. Royal Rumble over WrestleMania, the SummerSlam, something like that. From there, we had Michael Cole do a sit-down interview with all ego Ethan Page, who handed Mr. Cole pre-made questions to be asked, which was friggin' hysterical. To quote, honor the request of the talent. I loved him. He's so funny. And Cole obviously, you know, really wasn't having it. And Page ultimately was like, you know what, when I win the Intercontinental Championship from Penta at Saturday Night's Main Event, I'm going to rename it, you know, to something that I want to rename it to, which also was excellent. This segment was a lot of fun. I really very much love Ethan Page. He's a great interview. The charisma is just off the charts. And I think the dude has the aura of a champion. And to be honest with you, I don't know if they'll have him beat Penta clean, but I think he should.
I don't think he beats him clean if he does, but I don't know that I want him to beat him yet though. I mean, how long has Penta held that belt for?
Since before WrestleMania.
Because he defended it at Mania, right?
Yeah, he beat Dom for it.
Oh yeah, the ladder match.
Yeah, at the ladder match at Elimination Chamber, right?
No, at oh yeah. I just
Yeah, so I mean,
maybe
we're going on like 3 months of Penta having the belt.
maybe it is
I
time
would
that
be
he can
okay.
drop it.
Yeah, I would be okay with them kind of not hot potatoing that around, but maybe next to Ethan Page, then maybe next to Rusev or next to Javon Evans. I would be okay with all of those things.
Yeah, I think him dropping it to Ethan Page is a very possible thing, and I think that Page plays the smarmy, like just douchebag so well that he would make for a great champion.
He'd be, yeah, because he would have in-ring segments that would be like, you know, just everybody kind of like acknowledging him for being wonderful and all that stuff. Like it would be absolutely hysterical.
Yep.
He basically rolled over the exact same character that he was in NXT, which translates very well to the main roster.
Yep.
So it kind of reminds me of like those old Miz TV segments, kind of in a way. Like he's going to be the same kind of guy, right?
Yeah,
And he's got all the charisma in the world. So I think he's a lot of fun, and I think he's going to be a great addition to the Red Brand.
that's a very good comparison though to the Miz TV stuff.
Yeah. So following last week's physical confrontation, Paige and Brie Bella defended the women's tag team championships against the Judgment Day's Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez. This saw the babyface team, control the action early, only for the heels to kind of break them down, and going into the commercial timeout. The match kind of just went on for a little while. Brie unloaded a series of yes kicks to the Roxanne Perez, which was kind of cool, to still see that the audience does that. Liv Morgan attempted to interfere as the referee ejected her from ringside area. Ultimately allowing Paige and Brie Bella to pick up the win. And then after the fact, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria made their way down to attempt to make the save as the heels, went for the beatdown after the bell was over. So this was fine. This was a good match. I was okay with all of this. I think that we are not done with Paige and Brie Bella as the champions yet. But I think, as we said at WrestleMania, if Paige had not come out, Bayley and Lyra should have won. Bayley and Lyra need to be the ones to beat them.
So you're probably gonna to boo me off stage here for this, but every week that we see Paige and Brie Bella out there competing, they've been noticeably improving as a team and just getting back into the swing of things. And I think that is a benefit to the fact that they are on every show.
Yeah.
They literally are one of the few people who are competing across every single show. And I think that's huge for them. And you're right. I think that Lyra and Bayley should be the ones to get the titles. And I was just happy to see Bayley again. Like, it's been several weeks since we've seen her. Was a little bit worried with some of the talk coming out of the internet that she might be one of the cut people. But the match was pretty much what I expected it to be. I'm not expecting them to lose to the immovable objects at Saturday night's main event. And I don't know where we go from here, but like you said, hopefully Bayley and Lyra.
Yeah, I think so. I think that makes the most sense. Like, you need to do something with them. And Bayley, as we've said for a long time on this channel, Bayley deserves it. Bayley's so awesome, and like it'd be such a shame if they're not going to utilize her. I did hear a rumor that she allegedly hired a talent agent of some kind who's like a bit of a shark who was going to really try to like get her more money because her contract is coming up, I think, at the end of the year.
Yep.
So that's interesting. So we might see her in WCW after all.
Well, I mean, her best friend is there, so
yeah. So after that, obviously, was the Oba Femi segment, which we talked about, and then leading us to the last match of the evening was between Seth Rollins and Austin Theory, and this match was awesome. Great match. It's always good to see Seth Rollins in the main event, and these two guys went at it for a while. There was a attempted interference spot with Logan Paul and the brass knuckles, but Rollins blasted him with the super kick and ultimately hit the pedigree onto a Austin Theory to pick up the win. After the match, Angelo Dawkins again comes down to make the save for Rollins as the tag team champions kind of beat him down. This led to Montez Ford attempting to save his partner, ultimately being tossed in the way of a spear from Bron Breakker, who hit the ring to ultimately see the Vision stand tall to close out the show as they attempted to further the story between Seth and the Street Profits and the Vision and everything going on there. So we are absolutely going to lead to some kind of 3-on-3 or even 4-on-4 if you want to add Joe Hendry and Bronson Reed when they come back. That is absolutely going to be a thing probably for the next 4 to 5 months as we attempt to continue to put these guys into interjected matches, I think.
Much like T was saying, it's pretty obvious that they're setting up a faction versus faction thing in all corners of WWE lately. And I think the more entertaining part of this particular story is getting to see Seth change his character to try to win these guys over.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be fun. It's going to give him a little bit of a character refresh because Seth is one of those guys who, yeah, he's a better heel, but he can also play a pretty good face. So I'm very curious to see what direction they take him in here, and I absolutely want the Street Profits to win at Saturday Night's main event.
I think
Do I
they
think they? I don't think they will. I think they're going to win on the second try. But I think that it. I think it's going to be a hell of a match, and I think that this is one of the better feuds that's going to last all summer. I think.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about that. I think that you know, this is kind of other than the Roman Reigns stuff, this is the other big story on Raw right now, right? And this is what SmackDown is lacking. Like long continuing stories, right? There's just none of that on SmackDown right now. SmackDown seems to be being booked as like a week to week show,
Yep.
whereas like this has characters with feuds that continue to develop and go on and build towards matches and build towards adding other people, bigger matches, and ultimately the big match that you want to see, right? So like all of those things are what make this engaging, and it's really not that hard to do. And again, I say SmackDown is just not doing any of that right. So
There's, like you said, zero consistency, zero long term storytelling. I believe I said it in my comment response earlier today that it literally feels like SmackDown's writer's room is throwing things at the wall to see what sticks rather than using any type of creative process. And it's blatantly obvious, which is crazy to me when all they need to do is look at and talk to what's going on over in Raw.
yeah, yeah, no, you are exactly right. So yeah, so that was Monday Night Raw in a nutshell. What is your final rating for the show, and did you enjoy yourself this Monday?
Like most Raws, I did enjoy it. It's been a while since there has been a bad Raw, in my opinion. I think that I give it a B. Would be an A in the Tokyo Dome, but definitely a B here. And I think it had enough wrestling. It had enough story progression, and I always love seeing everything going on with Jacob Fatu. So I give it a B.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think this show is solid. I love to see some of the main stories that are continuing to go on. The characters on Raw are fun. Ethan Page is fun. Brock Lesnar thing's a little weird, but Oba's still awesome. And, Sol Ruca is awesome. Ethan Page is awesome. Jacob Fatu is awesome. All of the fun characters just seem like they're on Monday nights. So it makes for a really entertaining show, in my opinion. So I think with that, my final rating for the show is a fake retirement out of 5.
A Mark he pulled a Mark Henry on him.
Right? So that is our show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us as always. Please smash that like and subscribe button. We do appreciate all the support. And with that, I have been Mike, joined by Mr. Not going to say it. And have yourselves a fantastic evening and take care.